With over 10 million pet felines across the country, it's safe to say that Britain is a nation of cat lovers. In this unique series, we'll follow some very special kittens through their very first year of life and reveal how they transform over this one magical time from helpless balls of fur to graceful and independent adventurers. We'll follow an adorable cast of kitten characters from the moment their eyes open to their very first step into the outside world. We'll discover how our kittens use their superhuman senses to understand the world around them. We'll find out what they get up to when we're not looking. And we'll learn how their powerful wild instincts still influence their every move. These are kittens as you've never seen them before. In one country home, Britain's newest litter of kittens is about to arrive. This is Orla. She's a 3-year-old British short-hair house cat. And she's expecting her very first litter of kittens. By the look of her soul and tummy, they could arrive at any moment. Our first-time mum doesn't have to wait long. In the dark of night, our cameras get a glimpse of Orla going into labour. And soon she meets her firstborn son. His name is Lloyd. And at just 3 ounces, Lloyd weighs less than a plum. Just seconds old, Lloyd already has an amazing ability called the rooting reflex, which tells his tiny brain to root through mum's fur to find his first meal. By morning, Lloyd is joined by 3 sisters, and now they're all dry and fluffy. Our British short-hair newborns are almost completely helpless. They're born both blind and deaf. And they struggle with basic coordination. Incredibly, each kitten will feed from the very same teat for the next 4 to 5 weeks. Each teat has a faintly different scent, and while we couldn't smell the difference, our kittens can. Lloyd and his sisters will follow their noses to their chosen feeding spot every single time, creating an orderly line-up at the lunch buffet. For the first 48 hours, his mum produces a special type of milk that delivers immunity from mum to kitten. so that her newborns will be protected from most diseases during the first month of life. We'll watch as Lloyd and his sisters grow and develop over these next critical weeks. In the countryside of Devon, one litter of 6 semi-feral farm kittens has also just arrived. Their lives will be quite a bit different from our pampered house kittens. They'll spend their entire lives outside. And one day they'll have to learn how to hunt mice, just like Mum. Most outdoor kittens are vulnerable to starvation and predators. So our farmyard felines need to take extra precaution to make sure they stay alive. While Lloyd and our British Shorthairs called out for Mum, our farm kittens have learned not to make a noise, because meowing can attract predators. Despite the dangers, one confident kitten named Rudy is happy just to kick back and relax. At this age, cat naps are critical for Rudy and her siblings. Because whilst she sleeps, Rudy's bones are growing bigger and becoming stronger. Lots of sleep also keeps Rudy's immune system in tip-top shape. With any luck, our little Rudy will transform into a tough little tabby. We'll follow her as she grows up and carves out her place on the farm. In Cornwall, another special kitten is starting to find her feet. Her name is Peanut, and at 7 days old, she weighs less than an apple. Peanut is the runt of the litter, and she's half the size of her 2 greedy brothers. At this age, her eyes are still sealed shut, and her balance is a long way from perfect. Before long, Peanut finds herself all alone. At 1 week old, she can't control her body temperature on her own. And if she's by herself for too long, Peanut could die of hypothermia. So she calls out for help. If she can find her brothers, she can get warm. Today, her ears that have been sealed since birth have opened, so she can now hear her siblings snuffling together in the distance. and she follows these yelps until she's safely tucked between her pudgy brothers. When we come back, we'll catch up with our scrawny little Peanut to see if she can overcome the odds and make it past her first week of life. We'll catch up with Lloyd as he opens his eyes and sees the world for the first time. And we'll follow Rudy as she gets to know her farmyard family. At 10 days old, Lloyd and our British short-haired kittens have taken a huge step forward in their development. Unlike human babies who open their eyes in the first few minutes after birth, our kittens have waited a whole week to see the world around them. Today is the day Lloyd is getting his first blurry glimpse. And right now, he can see Mum arriving for bath time. Our kittens are groomed nearly every hour. But Mum is not just doing this to keep her kids squeaky clean. She uses every lick to comfort her kittens and strengthen the bond between mother and baby. Her tongue has backward barbs on it, which act like a comb, perfect for parting Lloyd's fur, removing dead hair, and keeping his coat in good condition. Our little boy is enjoying this pampering session. And it doesn't take long before he's so relaxed that he's just got to put his head down. In Bristol, one 4-week-old kitten called Mew has reached the next big milestone in a kitten's life. Our mustachioed little Moggy is learning how to walk. And he's taking it one cautious step at a time. We can't see it, but Mew's brain is sending signals to his little legs telling them how and when to move. And with every step, his muscles are growing stronger. Where human babies have just 2 legs to coordinate, our kittens need to get 4 legs going in the right direction at the right time. And while his form isn't perfect, Mew is taking a step in the right direction. It's not long before our little one is exhausted by his morning workout. Going, gone. Mew and his siblings slip into a deeper sleep than adult cats. Possibly because they can't hear yet and are not disturbed by noises around them. Lucky for them, our Moggies have a very dedicated babysitter watching over them. Della, a 12-year-old Staffordshire cross. It may seem like an unlikely friendship, but some female dogs like Della form firm bonds with other animals. And she's happy to step in to look after this kitten clan when Mum's not around. And Mew and his siblings just love having her around to cuddle up to. Back in Cornwall, our little ragdoll runt Peanut has made it to 1 month old. She's still very small for her age, but Peanut is hanging in there. And she's even proving to be the most adventurous of our kitten trio. Peanut is using the sensitive nerves on the pads of her paws to help her understand the strange surface underfoot. The more sights, smells and textures Peanut experiences now, the more confident she'll be as she grows up. Peanut's bravery is pretty impressive considering her tiny size. Her greedy brothers have gained 10 grams a day since birth and are now nearly 1 whole pound. That's like a human baby growing 5 times its size in just a month. But Peanut is weighing in at only ½ pound. Male kittens gain weight faster than females, but Peanut is unusually small. Her greedy brothers still look to Mum for all the calories and nutrients they need. And they settle into the best seats in the house. The teats closest to Mum's head produce the most milk. So Peanut tries to muscle her way in. But she just doesn't have the strength to compete with those bully boy brothers. Even our most determined kitten needs a little help sometimes. She's fed a warm, calorific formula made of yogurt, goat's milk, and egg yolks. And she'll drink this important kitten smoothie every 6 hours around the clock. It'll help Peanut pack on the pounds and gain strength. So maybe next time she'll be able to beat her brothers to the best feeding spot. Just like Peanut, our farm kitten Rudy has just reached 4 weeks old. and she's also starting to explore. If this barn is going to be her home, she has to get to know every nook and cranny. Even the dark, scary corners. Rudy, like all kittens, lives in a constant state of tension between feelings of curiosity and caution. One holds her back, and the other pushes her forward. Bold Rudy is leading her nervous sister Bella on an adventure. Side by side, Rudy and Bella are eager to meet the other residents of the barn. And off they go. It doesn't take long for our kittens to encounter their first potential friends. Animals get to know each other with their noses, so Rudy takes several good sniffs. But these funny smelling creatures don't seem too interested in a friendship. This inquisitive young lamb is similar in age and outlook. He also wants to make friends. Amazingly, bold little Rudy is not intimidated by this baby giant 10 times her size. That's enough meet and greet for one day. Our two little trailblazers head back to Mum with a much better understanding of their hay barn home and the strange creatures that live within it. In the countryside of Gloucestershire lives a very unique litter of 4. These are Bengal kittens, a breed that descends from the wild Asian leopard cat. At 5 weeks old, these kittens are practicing one instinct they've inherited from their wild ancestors: hunting. Every tiny tussle improves their eye-paw coordination. One mischievous little Bengal named Ned is refining his newfound dexterity. Every pounce on his sister Dot is honing his ambush skills. Our kittens are perfecting their timing and learning how to gauge the distance between them and their prey. Since birth, Ned and his siblings have never left the safety of this box. And now that their vision is completely developed, they are eager to see what the world outside has in store. doesn't take long for our kittens to fly the nest. Bengals are known for their incredible climbing abilities. They're the acrobats of the kitten world. So it's no surprise that Dot has found her way to a high swinging sanctuary. It's not long before her pesky brother Ned finds her. And soon the whole gang has squeezed in. At this young age, Ned and Dot stay close to each other for warmth and security. Strength in numbers gives them comfort when they experience new things. And they still have Mum around for extra security. Soon our brave little explorers see something they can climb to get even higher. To Ned, this sofa is like a skyscraper. But with a little muscle and a lot of claw, Ned makes it to the top. Hits his target. Soon everyone follows our intrepid little explorer. Mum is less than thrilled that her kids can now reach her favourite spot. Is realizing one important lesson. What goes up must come down. Her brother doesn't hesitate. But Dot's not so sure. This drop-off is 4 times her height. Every moment she's learning about the world around her. Through trial and error. Dot's going to do this her way. And she nuzzles in for nap time. All this climbing is just exhausting. Next up, we'll follow our wild Bengals as they finely tune their acrobatic attack skills. And we'll find out what our brave little farm cats get up to in the dark of night. Lloyd and his siblings have reached 5 weeks of age. And they're discovering how much fun it is to play. Our kittens are working on some very important social skills to get them ready for adulthood. When they grow up, Lloyd and his sisters may need to protect their territory from rival cats. So this play fighting is improving their ability and courage to defend themselves when they're older. With each and every swat and pounce, our kittens are trying to show off their strength. But soon Lloyd retreats to the safety of his perch. Our pampered little prince has lost interest in these tabby tussles. Lucky for Lloyd, it's time for his daily massage. Now he can really relax. Kittens that are gently stroked during the first 7 weeks of life will have better developed brains. They're more exploratory, more playful, and more friendly to people. So these daily pampering sessions mean little Lloyd is well on his way to becoming one perfectly adjusted house cat. It's night time in the Devonshire countryside. While the surrounding village sleeps, our farm kittens are wide awake. And we're using a special night vision camera to see what they're up to. Mum is making sure her kittens are safe and sound before she sets out into the night to find her dinner. Compared to humans, a kitten's eyes have 6 times more rod cells, which are super sensitive to low light. It's now that Mum can see her prey much better than her prey can see her, making this the perfect time to hunt. And while Mum's away, her kittens can play. Rudy and her siblings instinctively know to stay close to home when Mum isn't around. But that doesn't mean they can't have a bit of fun. In the dark, Rudy's irises contract and her pupils open wide to let in every drop of light. So for Rudy, this is just like playing around in the daytime. It doesn't take long for Mum to return with a full belly. And she has quickly settled down so that Rudy and her siblings can get their dinner too. Back in Bristol, our black and white moggies are bouncing off the walls. Mustachioed little Mew seems to turn everything into a toy. They are now 7 weeks old, and these kitties have entered their most active play period. It's a critical stage for Mew and his siblings to perfect the amazing balance, agility and reflexes that cats are so famous for. At 7 weeks, their back legs are strong enough to jump 3 times their height. And right now, they're practicing something called the writing reflex. It's our kittens' magical ability to correct the orientation of their bodies when they fall. And that's why cats always land on their feet. But it seems like our clumsy moggies haven't quite got it down yet. It doesn't take long for playtime to be interrupted by Aunt Della. This toy is too fun to resist. But like any good babysitter, Della lets our kittens take priority, while she supervises from the sidelines. And it's a good thing too. While Mew practices his writing reflex, Della provides the ideal landing pad. They may be looking more and more like adult cats, but our kittens don't yet have the same stamina. After every frenzied bout of play, Mew needs a quick power nap to recharge his kitten battery. Lloyd and his British short-hair sisters are 2 weeks older since we last saw them. They've now grown a full set of 26 tiny teeth. They're 4 times bigger than they were at birth, and now they require calories that Mum's milk just can't supply. It's time for their first solid meal. But Lloyd isn't interested in kitten chow. Our pedigree prince has acquired a taste for the finer things in life. Cooked fish is the perfect snack for our growing boy, as it's filled with protein to build muscle and rich fats to keep his coat thick and shiny. Once mealtime is over, Lloyd makes sure he's not caught with any food on his face. Adult cats spend 50% of their time grooming themselves. It cools them down when they're hot and it helps them relax. Lloyd uses his paw as a washcloth to reach the areas his tongue can't get to. And soon, our tidy tabby is as clean as a whistle. In Gloucestershire, Ned and Dot, our Bengal kittens, have reached 7 weeks of age. their senses are nearly as advanced as an adult cat's. And that includes their remarkable vision. Mirror-like reflectors in the backs of their eyes help kittens to see movement in the dark 6 times better than we can. And it's why felines are so adept at hunting at night. Even their peripheral vision is more impressive than our own. With a field of vision measured 200 degrees compared to our 180. All this means that our feather toy has little hope of making it through the night. To our kittens, this isn't a toy. It's prey. And the urge to ambush, pounce, and tear it apart is overwhelming. Our kittens were born with a hunting instinct, but they learn the right techniques from watching Mum. Ned's claws can protrude and retract. He can efficiently grab, scoop, and hold onto his target. By rolling on his back, he's able to use all 4 paws and his mouth to be the most effective weapon he can be. His 26 needle-sharp teeth help to make the final blow. All this practice is preparing Ned to one day be the animal kingdom's most efficient mousetrap. At 7 weeks old, Lloyd has discovered one remarkable sensory tool that he's had since birth: his whiskers. Like all cats, Lloyd's up-close vision is blurry, so he uses the amazing hypersensitive hairs on his face to feel out the world in front of him. Kittens' whiskers are about the same width as the rest of their body, so they use these hairs to figure out if they can fit through a tight space. This tunnel is far too small. And this one would be a tight squeeze. But this one is just right. Most kittens and even adult cats love confined spaces because it makes them feel hidden and secure. But our claustrophobic kitty Lloyd isn't interested. Our precious prince would rather watch from the sidelines. Back in Bristol, two kittens are about to have the most exciting day of their little lives. Our mustachioed moggy Mew and his brother Rex are going outside. Rex is smelling the sweet scent of spring for the very first time. And he doesn't hesitate to start exploring this brand new world. But Mew is suffering from a sudden lack of self-confidence. So many new sights and smells can be overwhelming for a pint-sized pussycat. Aunt Della tries to bring Mew out of his shell. No such luck. Finally, our cautious kitten musters up the courage. And finds a sudden appreciation for his newfound freedom. Kittens won't be able to venture beyond the back garden until they're vaccinated, microchipped and neutered at around 6 months of age. But for now, there is more than enough to explore right here. Looks like our little Moggy has conquered his fears and proves he's one brave kitty. Soon enough, it's time to call it a day. Mew will have to wait to see what new adventures tomorrow will bring. Coming up, we'll check in with our ragdoll runt Peanut to see if she's caught up with her beefy brothers. And we'll watch as Lloyd takes his first cautious steps into the sunshine. In Cornwall, our ragdoll kitten Peanut is still as adventurous as ever. It's been 5 weeks since we saw our scrawny little runt fight for a meal from Mum. And since then, she has blossomed into quite the little beauty. Her greedy brothers are still eating like mad. And now Peanut can finally hold her own at the breakfast table and get her fair share of kitty chow, making sure she licks up every last morsel. But today is the day Peanut finds out if she's done enough to be as big and healthy as her brothers. And that means a trip to the vet. Our kittens have been using this cat carrier as their playhouse for the past few weeks. So they now associate it with something fun. Which means they aren't stressed when they're loaded up to hit the road. Now our cameras will get a hidden glimpse into how our kittens handle their very first road trip. The minute Peanut and her brothers leave the house, they're overwhelmed by new and unfamiliar smells. It may not seem like a big deal to us, but because all kittens are territorial, leaving their home and entering a strange new place can be unsettling for our ragdolls. Not to mention, every bounce throws off their newly developed sense of balance. But Peanut and her brothers are more interested in our camera than anything else. Once they arrive at the vet's office, our kittens are checked one by one to make sure they're fit and healthy.
Absolutely gorgeous, aren't they?
Peanut's brothers are both weighing in at just over 2.5 pounds. Now it's Peanut's turn. Has she reached a healthy weight, and will she make it to adulthood? At 0.9 kilos or 2 pounds, she's right where she should be. And after a full body scan, our little hero is given a clean bill of health. Peanut may not be as big as her brothers, but she's grown into a very happy and healthy little cat. In the countryside of Wales, it's a big day for our fluffy, wide-eyed little prince, Lloyd. Our pampered house kitty has spent his whole 8 weeks of life inside the walls of this kitten palace. And today, for the first time ever, he's venturing into the big, wide world. He's a bit of a scaredy cat. But let's see if he's brave enough to take his first steps into the bright unknown. Mum takes the lead. And Lloyd's sister is quick to follow. Lloyd isn't so sure he's ready to leave his creature comforts behind. But the sunshine beckons. At 8 weeks, Lloyd is the equivalent in age to a 2-year-old child. just like toddlers, our kitten is soaking up every new sight, smell and sound like a sponge, making a sensory map in his mind of this magical new world. He's learning to get used to this strange new feeling under his feet. But it's not quite as warm and cosy as the carpet he's used to. It doesn't take long for Lloyd and his siblings to retreat back to the cosy cushions inside. Mum makes sure all her kids are accounted for, and Lloyd is particularly happy to be back in the comfort of home. Back in Gloucestershire, it's been a week since we last saw our mischievous little Bengals, Ned and Dot. They don't know it yet, but today is the day they're leaving their kitten family and joining their human one. And right now it's time to meet their new parents. From now on, Ned and Dot will look to their human mum and dad for everything they need. It may seem like a scary new adventure as they say goodbye, but at least Ned and Dot have each other. Our little ragdoll runt Peanut is now 15 weeks old. She also has to look her best, because today is the day she's going to her new home. It's hard to believe our little runt could once fit into the palm of your hand. And amazingly, she's grown into a healthy and happy little kitten, ready to start life with her new human family. But before Peanut goes, there's a surprise in store for her. She's meeting her half-sister Cashew for the first time. They have the same dad, but Cashew is 3 weeks younger than Peanut. And what better way to get to know each other than by playing? Our fluffy runt and her little half-sister are going to their new home together. Soon their new parents arrive to pick them up. And Peanut is just loving all this attention. It's difficult for any kitten to leave the only home she's ever known. But there's strength in numbers. From now on, Peanut will take on the world with her little sister by her side. Next time on The Secret Life of Kittens, we'll see how Ned and Dot have not only settled into their new home, they've taken it over. And we'll watch to see how Peanut adapts to her new life. We'll also meet a few more incredible additions to our kitty clan. And follow these fascinating felines as they grow up and learn about the world and their place within it.
They kind of rule the roost, don't they? The Kickies are back next Monday night at 8. Next, any others up for some task sabotage? And hail a dip in the mighty hot tub. You know where that's heading. It's a packed Big Brother with just a few tantrums in just a tick. Stay with us.